There he is.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
Yes, I apologize for running a couple minutes
I
behind.
know you're fine, man. You're fine. We're just getting the crowd in as we go here. So I think we're up to 37 and growing.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, I love it. So I know you may not like this, but I'm going to spotlight you for everybody.
Good.
Okay, there we go. So hey, well, let's get started. So good morning, everybody. We have a very special guest with Mr. Ken Pozek today. He's built quite a business in the Orlando area, and I subscribe to his YouTube channel, and his videos are fantastic. Just really, really good. So I can see why you become the local expert. I'd love to hear, because you weren't always there. I'd love to hear how you got started, maybe some fail forwards.
Yeah, fail forward. There's plenty of them.
Yeah, and anything you'd love to share about your business, we'd love to hear as well.
Yeah, so I'm Ken Pozek from Orlando, Florida, but originally I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I was a realtor there for since 2008. Before that, I was an appraiser, and I know many of you guys hated me. It's okay. I didn't like the job either, which is why I became a real estate agent. The market crashed there. I got into really all the old school things that were taught, door knocking, expireds for sale by owners, and I built a big business off of that. We were doing about $40 million in business. Just over 100 units. We did 113 units in 2016. And my wife and I, we came to Florida to buy a second home. And we were like, this would be so cool to be like here when it's really, really cold in Michigan. And so we came down to Orlando to buy a second home, be close to Disney. And then we just never went home. And
Wow.
I said, it was really like, I mean, we went home to pack, obviously, and I kind of transitioned out of that business and just started over. I didn't know anybody here. And so I did what I knew, which was cold calling and open houses and expireds and for sale by owners and agent referrals and these kind of things. But I couldn't do that for the next 20 years. I was in my head, like, I don't want to wake up every day and cold call people I don't know. And at the time, a friend of mine was like, hey, if you just grab your cell phone, I've been doing these like builder tours, putting them up on YouTube, and every once in a while, people call me. That sounds like something I could do. And so that's what I did for the next 3 months. I shot a video every single day, and I edited it on my iMovie, uploaded it myself. And I started having people call me after about video 90. And I tell that story because it's like, I don't come from the media background, but we've built a media company that now, fast forward to today, will close over 500 sides for $250 million here in Orlando. And excuse me. And it's all really from YouTube, social media, our newsletter, and really this media company that we've built. So people look at us today and they're like, wow, that seems like something I couldn't even overcome. But yet we built it in just over 6 years, not having that background. And so we've had a lot of fail forward moments. And hopefully today I can help you cut through some of those and find something in our story to implement in your business.
I love it. So tell me about the media company that you built. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so we call it the Orlando Reel. It's all things real estate, theme parks, and living in Orlando. We have about 30,000 people that get our twice weekly email newsletter. And in that, we have articles about everything in Orlando, the newest developments coming, the newest schools being built, the newest hot dog stand, the newest coffee shop. And there's constant call to actions to buy or sell a house. But really, it's there for the locals and then people who might want to move here. And so our YouTube videos are in there. Our social media channels are in there. And we've got almost 40,000 people on TikTok. Between my account and the Orlando Reel account, we've got almost 40,000 on Instagram. And we're reaching somewhere between 2 to 2.5 million unique accounts every month.
Wow, that's a big number.
It's a big number. And so we just went through our ISA numbers yesterday, which is why I know these off the top of my head. We had 611 leads come in last month. And we closed 65 homes for $30 million. So we're converting them out, call it 10%, 11% of the deals that come through, or the leads that come through. And yeah, it's been a fun ride. So through that, it's the writing, the blogs, it's the YouTube, it's the Instagram. They kind of all really play very well together. And so depending on wherever anybody likes to consume their information, we want to be there.
Gotcha. How many people on your team, Ken?
We have 38 people, of which are 25 agents now, and I'm number 25, so 24 other agents, and that consists of 2 transaction coordinators, 2 ISAs, short form editor, long form editor, media manager, and a graphics design person.
Okay. Wow. I'm not surprised. I mean, I look at the quality of your videos and they're just, there's one the other day you did where I think you were in 5 different neighborhoods, and just the video, just everything was just amazing. How often, how do you get all that content out there? It almost seems like a daunting task. Tell me how you guys work that out.
Yeah. So today is Thursday. It's content day. So I'm a realtor still. I still sell real estate. And basically Thursday mornings, I'll get here right after we're done here. I will shoot for the next hour or two, short form. So this is just stuff that's going to go on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and I'll talk about the news. And the cool thing about real estate agents is we have this really unique perspective of the market. You're driving around every day. You see the new retail going in. You see the new houses going up. You see the old houses getting torn down. You see all this stuff that most people won't see on their 9-to-5 drive.
Sure.
And so we take the news and I just tell the news from a real estate agent's perspective. I go on I subscribe to like 12 different news sources now, but for free, you could go to Google and type in, Detroit, Michigan, or Dallas, Texas news, and just go through all of the different news over the past week, pick out 3 or 4 different things you think are interesting, and you could turn that into a video. That could be a 5 to 10 minute video on YouTube, just talking about the news. Hey, there's a new development coming. Hey, there's 50,000 new jobs that were added to the Orlando area in the past 6 months. Here's what I think that's going to do for housing. And so you're just constantly telling it the news from a real estate agent's perspective. I don't get political. I don't talk about religion. I try to be very broad for everybody, because the only thing I care about is how does it affect real estate prices and the quality of life in Orlando.
Gotcha. Okay. I remember hearing, and I'm not sure if it was where I heard this, but you were talking about when you first started out with YouTube, you had a different tact that you realized wasn't really working for you. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So these builder tours, they were getting some views, 40 views, 50 views, but nothing that would have broad appeal. And so I was doing very, very long form builder tours. So when I say long form, it's an SEO term, and SEO stands for search engine optimization. And Google is, if anybody wants to find anything, we go to Google first, at least a great majority of us.
Yep.
Secondarily, we go to YouTube. And so if you break a toilet and you don't know how to fix the toilet and your plumber's not ready, how do I fix something? I go on YouTube, I figure it out. My media manager had a flat tire and he was trying to figure out how to plug a hole. He went to YouTube to figure it out. And YouTube is owned by Google. And so you need to think about search engine optimization all the time was my thought early on. And so I was creating these videos that were like the Ashton Woods Duval home tour in Winter Garden, Florida. That's like a very long tail keyword, right? Instead of just like homes in Florida, that would be a short form or short keyword, right? It's like a lot more people are searching that, but there's a lot more competition in those really, really big words. So if you go long tail, there's just less people that are competing with you in that space, was my thought. And I was right. I just wasn't getting a lot of views because people are like, how many people want to see like that specific model and that specific builder in that specific town? Turns out maybe 40 people or so. And so we were getting leads from that, but I wanted to figure out how could I reach everybody in Orlando or everybody who would ever consider moving here. We were one of the top 5 fastest growing cities in the country for a while. And so, how do I make that happen? And so, I went a little bit more broad. So moving to Orlando, and then I broke down every city first around here because Orlando's 32 zip codes, but we have another 65 different zip codes that are part of our suburbs. So it's moving to Winter Park, it's moving to Baldwin Park, it's moving to Celebration, it's moving to Golden Oak. It's the top 5 reasons you might want to move here or not move here. I did one, like you mentioned, I did the, kind of hidden gem neighborhoods of Orlando that nobody talked about. And so that's kind of where we've moved, and that's getting a lot more eyeballs.
Okay. So I just want to circle back for a second. You said today is media day, shooting day.
Yep.
How much content do you get done in that day?
So I'll shoot 3 to 4 shorts today. I will get my Tuesday video, which is an 8 to 10 minute long video. It takes me about 2 hours to shoot and I have our editors do it. But when I was doing it, it would take me 2 to 3 hours to shoot that midday. And then I go on appointments, I follow up on email. And then at night, I go live on my YouTube channel from 7 to 8 every Thursday night.
Okay.
And I chose Thursday night was because Saturdays actually had better viewership live because there's more people home and not doing stuff. But I was missing my kids, missing my wife. And I kind of made a commitment. I'm not going to work weekends anymore. And so we do it Thursday nights from 7 to 8. And I get anywhere between 200 and 300 people come listen live. So think about this, people listening in today, is like, how long would it take you to fill a room or a buyer seminar or a seller seminar with 200 to 300 people?
Yeah.
You'd have to do crazy marketing. I mean, right now it'd almost be an impossibility to get 300 people for your local market to come listen to you talk about real estate. And yet I do that every week.
Wow. So what kind of content do you cover on that Thursday night call? Give me an example.
Yeah, it's really the three things we hit in our newsletter, which is real estate, theme parks, and living in Orlando. But people ask all the time, like, well, that's because you live in somewhere sexy, like Orlando's got a lot of stuff to do. I'm like, Orlando is really not sexy. Yeah, we've got Disney and Universal, but beyond that, it's just a suburb like anywhere else. If you lived in Dallas, if you lived in Detroit, if you lived in Seattle, like there's always stuff going on in your town that locals want to know. And so if they tune in every night to, Fox 35, they're going to hear about the guy that got stabbed, the guy that got run over, maybe some political garbage, some unrest in the area. Like it's just bad news all the time. So I created a little news show, and it's literally just me sitting here. We turned more lights on and it looks a little bit more fancy, but you could literally just sit in front of your webcam. If you go on my YouTube channel and you click on the live tab and you go back to my first one, which was like 2 years ago, it was just me sitting in my office, no fancy light, no fancy microphone. I was just like, I just hit live and I was like, let's see what this does. And I had like 40 people show up to the first one, which was insane. Wow. Because YouTube pushes it out. It says Ken's live, come watch. So I was just saying, hey guys, so today I've got like 5 different things I want to talk about that I found interesting in our area. And yeah, some of it was real estate related. And I think that that day I talked about a market update because I was like, hey, it's COVID at the time. And I was like, people keep thinking the market's going to crash and it's not crashing. And here's why I think that is. And then I pivoted to here's where the number 1 home sales are in the area based on average turnover. And then let's also talk about the jobs report that came out here locally. And here are the top 4 companies that are hiring right now. And here's what I think that's going to do to Orlando long term. And then I talked about some new restaurants that were opening up and I was done. And the wild thing about it is I had all this communication. People were dropping comments the entire time. And I'm like, man, I think I'm onto something here. And so we turned it into a weekly show and it's been fantastic.
Wow. That's very, very cool. So try to think of some other questions here. That's just, again, the quality of your videos is just, so you built this whole media company up. So when you were first doing it yourself, how difficult was that to try to manage all of the editing and the producing, all that stuff?
A lot, Tony. I was, I was still a full-time realtor and I still am. I mean, I don't sell a lot of houses. Two a month right now is kind of my goal, just to stay relevant for my content and my team or anything. But I was selling 4 or 5 houses a month myself, going on appointments. I had 1 TC. And it was just me, the TC, and that was it. I was going out shooting content during the day. I was editing at night and then uploading at night and then going back the next morning to go shoot. And so it was a lot of late nights. I would tuck my kids in, kiss my wife, go edit. And it was that for years. And then, for a year. And then I hired an editor from Upwork. And honestly, this is where I think most people should start because most of us aren't editors. We're not, I consider myself a wannabe creative. I'm not like really, really creative. I just hire the people that are. And so you could go to Upwork, you could go to Fiverr and hire somebody to shoot the videos that you got on your cell phone. You literally could just go out into your downtown area, hold your phone up. If it's this far away from your face, it's going to have pretty decent audio. And it's just talk about the area and then send that over to somebody on Upwork or Fiverr and just say, hey, I need you to cut out the ums and the likes and tie my videos together. And the intro, the outro, give me some words and some lower thirds to make it look decent. And you might pay that person $70, $100. And if you did that every week for a year, you would look up and have a bunch of organic leads. And so that's the way to go. So shoot it yourself on a cell phone, upload it to Upwork or Fiverr, have that person send you the final product, and then you'll upload it to YouTube. But here's the beautiful thing about all of this is that many people are like, I know I should be doing a 36 touch to my database, but they don't know what to send. And so what if you created videos that were getting organic leads from YouTube, but then you just created a very simple weekly email that went out to your database? Now you have a 52 touch that's done for you already. And so you're already doing it because you want to put it on YouTube to get organic leads, but then now you're reaching your sphere. And so our sphere business is like 40% of our business now too. So like YouTube and social media is like anywhere between, YouTube itself is 35% of our business.
Okay.
And everything else is another maybe 10 or 15%. But on top of that, we get 40% from referrals because we have this huge like newsletter that sends us business all the time.
Gotcha.
So that's really a good place to start if you're a realtor, is just have somebody else edit, upload, and be really, really consistent. And then now, more recently, I've got a short form editor. His full-time job is to put out 2 to 3 pieces of content a day. And that's over on our Instagram and TikTok and Shorts. I've got a long form guy who follows me around with the camera, and he, so this took 6 years to kind of build up on, but for y'all sitting there, start with your cell phone.
Got it. Do you, somebody popped a question in the chat. Do you ever go live on other platforms besides YouTube?
I don't. I probably could get like an extra cell phone and set it up here while I go live or something like that. That would probably be a wise move. But I lied. So I use what's called StreamYard to go live, and that pushes it out to YouTube. It also pushes it out to LinkedIn and Twitter. But really YouTube is like where it lives once I'm done going live. Gotcha.
Okay. So I hear, follow Tom Ferry. I listen to him a lot, and you always hear him talking about video. How critical is it, do you think, for agents to be on video?
Well, I think it has to come down to like, do you want to leverage, and do you want to have to go into every listing appointment where you're going against 5 agents and they don't know who you are and you're trying to fight for your value? Do you want to have a world where it's all dependent on you, and if you go on vacation, you're not getting any more leads because you're not prospecting? If that feels good to you, you like that world, then keep doing what you're doing. If you want social media and YouTube and Instagram and all these other things that you can do to be working for you while you're sleeping, and where you walk in a listing presentation and you're like, oh, I'm the only one, because they love your content and they know you're the agent for them, and all you have to do is talk about price and commission and you're done. And by the way, commission rarely comes up. It's just like, it's 6%, sign here. That's our world. And it's really because people feel like they already know me, like me, and trust me because of video. And so one of the number one things that I hear about for people that don't want to get on video is usually because they're like, I don't look good on video. I got to tell you, that's how you look in real life. Like they're like, I don't like how I sound. That's how you sound in real life. And so like the camera doesn't really add 10 pounds. It doesn't warp your voice. It just is what it is. And so, and I took that to heart. I didn't like how I looked on video. I knew that's how I looked. So I dropped 50 pounds and like was very purposeful about making myself something that I could be proud of. Some people don't like when I say that, but it's the truth. So I think that regardless of where you're from, your age, your sex, how you look, all of this stuff doesn't matter. If you put yourself on video, someone in the world is going to find connection to you. And that's a very powerful thing. I know agents that are in their 70s just picking up TikTok and blowing up their sphere. They're getting organic leads just because they took the time to figure it out. And so even in their 70s, they're figuring out new tech and able to utilize that. And they're getting their kind of people to reach out, whoever that is. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, we had Glenda Baker on a few weeks ago.
There you go.
And yeah, she's got 800,000 followers on TikTok.
Yep.
And she's, she just goes out and does it. And I mean, I think that's the biggest thing that I see is just, you got to go out and do it. Because your hair's not going to be perfect. You're not going to sound the way you think you should sound. Right. And you can come up with 100 reasons why not to shoot a video.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So where do you see your team in the next 5 years?
I could see 3 years really clearly. We'll be doing like 1,500 units and $1 billion in sales. Wow. And I think we're going to go really deep into Orlando. We'd kicked around the idea of, do we expand this to Tampa and Jacksonville and Miami? And honestly, I think there's enough units here. There's 2,200 sides a week happening right now. And I'm like, I don't need 2,200 sides a week, so like, but I think that based on our strategy, the bigger we get, the more market share we're just going to keep gobbling up. And so we're just doubling down on content, getting in business with the right agents that are the right culture fit, that want to work hard and follow up and sell a lot of real estate. And so our average agent nets $165,000 a year. Got 2 people on my team that made $500,000 last year, which is insane. So I think we've got a good product to attract really good agents. And so beyond that, it's going to get into more development. I'm really into the development side anyhow, in terms of like understanding where stuff's up and coming. So looking at where I could do some tear downs to put up townhouses, to get into some commercial investments. So we'll be diversifying financially that way.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the next at least 3 years.
Okay. I had a couple of questions come up in the chat. Lisa asked, are you getting leads routed via a landing page, or are you just combing through comments?
Amazing question, Lisa. So I don't want people to comment their contact information on my YouTube channel, because what I find is that 10% of my comments on YouTube are from realtors watching my stuff to learn, and probably 40% over on Instagram are realtors. So I don't want them stealing my people's contact information. So my call to action has always been really, really simple. It's just, hey, if this video is helpful at all, I want to be your real estate resource of choice. Email me, info@pozekgroup.com, or call the number in the description below. And so that email, info@pozekgroup.com, the only place that exists is on YouTube. And so I know with 100% certainty that if somebody emails that it came from YouTube. Now I can track it. And so when people say like, oh, YouTube is so hard to track and video is so hard to track, it's really not. It's not. I mean, you just got to set up a couple different things so you can track. And oh, by the way, the phone number in the description below is a call fire number where I can track that when someone calls that number, that it came specifically from YouTube. Gotcha. And so I know exactly how many leads we're getting from YouTube, whether they tell me, oh, I love Ken's content or not.
Got it. Another Ken Tassi had a question. He said, while you're gradually scaling up your business, what were some key things you did to stay sane? Coaching, time management, what'd you do to not get pulled off track?
Yeah, this is a very shiny object kind of thing. And I think that, one of my mentors earlier on was like, take a big sheet of paper or a whiteboard and write all of the things that you could do. That's YouTube, TikTok, newsletter, website for SEO, pay-per-click, agent referrals, client parties. Like there's literally all of these different things that you could do.
Gotcha.
Now, which one would actually move the needle forward the most? What's your one thing, right? Like we've all read the book or hopefully have, right?
Oh yeah. What's
the one thing that you could do next that would make everything else easier or unnecessary? And so for me, that was YouTube, and I went all in on YouTube, and I just put blinders on. And then I got to a place where we had to kind of hit critical mass where, subscribers kind of leveled off, where I'm getting, consistently 1,000 to 1,500 subscribers a month. And yeah, I could try to push that a little bit more, but like, is that the actual thing that's going to now move me to the next level? And I look down, I'm like, you know what? I think I have a nurture problem. It's not so much a lead attraction problem. It's a nurture problem. So how can I nurture these people better? Well, the newsletter might solve that, because that'll also help me with my sphere. So we implemented the thing next, right? And so I've got my next sort of 8 or 9 things that I know will move the needle farther down the road, or move the needle more, based on these sequential kind of things. And I think if you just can get laser focused on one thing, really figure that out. And then along the way, like I didn't leverage fast enough.
Okay.
Like, I'm still Gary Keller tells me I'm underutilized, or I'm under leveraged rather. So we're working on that right now. But I think that leveraging earlier would be super helpful. So whether that's your editor, maybe that's having somebody come in and help you with your database program that also does your newsletter, that also helps put all this stuff together. Maybe you need a transaction coordinator, so you're not working on the deals and you can actually go do some content. Figure out where your leverage point is and focus there. Gotcha.
Okay, great answer. So what I'm hearing is you literally created a could-do list and went from a should-do list down to an extreme Pareto principle, down to, okay, this is where I'm going. Yep. And I'm all in, and pushed everything else aside. I love that. A couple questions. There's one that Sue Hodgkins asked, do you have any training perhaps online to get started on YouTube? And I guess I kind of follow up, say, how would you recommend somebody get started on YouTube?
Yeah, I think there's two people that I love to follow. The first one is Daryl Eves. It's Darrell Eves, Eves is his last name. He doesn't post a ton now, but like the past 5 or 6 years, he's put out 400, 500 videos, and they're all on like how to succeed on YouTube, and it's free.
Wow.
It's YouTube University. You can go on there and learn for free. I've also paid him tens of thousands of dollars as a private coach, and not like a weekly thing. Like we had 3 calls, and it was very expensive. But he gave me good insights on developing my channel. But he gives away 90% of his stuff for free. Like that's where I would start. The other person I would follow is Sean Cannell. It's SEAN Cannell, CANNELL. He also gives away a lot of good stuff on YouTube for free.
Awesome. I love it. So do you have other agents on your team doing video, or is it just you?
Yeah. So we, we're when I say we're building a media company, like we're building a proper media company. Like we have sub brands now. So we've got a ladies podcast that's called The Balance. They talk about newsworthy stories from a mom and businesswoman's perspective, and then we cut that up into small pieces for Instagram. And then we also turn it into a podcast, which then goes out to another subset of our list. So that's been great. We have a separate Instagram for all my agents to get involved with. So they do home tours, and then they send those home tours to our editing team, and those get uploaded. And then we're kicking off a second YouTube channel, about to be a third though. That's just home tours with my agents, and talking about areas and that sort of thing that has little to nothing to do with me, but still comes back to the home base of the inside sales. So we can kind of control it. So yeah, but if you're starting off one channel, like I started bringing in some of my top agents that I knew would be good on video, and we would do home tours together, or we do like, hey, let's go tour a new neighborhood going in, or let's go tour a downtown area and talk about why we love it, interview people and stuff like that. So yeah, I think involving your agents, but really also controlling the content is very important, because thank God none of our agents have ever left us, but like if they ever were to, I want to own that content.
That makes sense. I love that. Wow, we are at 9 o'clock. That 30 minutes goes by in a heartbeat. That was fast.
Thank you all so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
No, I appreciate you taking the time to come on. Are you going to Mega Camp by chance?
I'll be on stage a couple times. So I'll see you.
I kind of figured that. Okay. I will see you there. So, hey guys, everyone make it a great Thursday. Ken, thank you. This was fantastic.
Thanks, Tony.
We really appreciate your time, man. Take care.